A year ago, I told you guys that Linux Rising was a trap, and I was wrong. Today, I'm going to tell you guys why beginners should rise their systems and why I completely changed my opinion on the topic. Hi guys, Shigo here, and whether you just came to Linux and finds Rising very intimidating, or you are on Linux for 30 years and finds that Rising is a completely waste of time, I'm almost sure this video is for you. So today, I'm going to break down why I think my opinion did a completely 180 and why I think Linux Rising is the best thing for anyone's Linux journey. In my old take in Linux Rising was a trap, I said that window managers are too difficult for regular users. Desktop environments are better because they just work out of the box. Unixprn is for just people showing off their terminals and they don't show anything of substance. And beginners should not waste time and should avoid Rising Linux. Some pretty bold claims. And looking back, I think I was mostly wrong. I should admit that. Starting with Unixprn, I dismissed it as if people flexing empty screens, but it's actually a very good source of inspiration. You can see what's possible to do in your system. You can discover a few new tools and share what you did with your system with other people that are like-minded and they think the same with you. And I think it's a great addition to the community as a whole, Unixprn. It brings a lot of new people. So yeah, I think I bad-mouthed a little bit too much on the last video. And another big one is Rising actually makes you learn about your system more deeply, because when you want your desktop to look a certain way, you have to dive into how a compositor works, configuration files, shell scripting, system architecture. It's a lot of things that you need to understand a little bit. And even if you stay on the superficial side, you're still gonna have it shown to you in a way or another. So I don't think you're just making your computer more pretty. I think you're learning in a new way, becoming more of a power user. And I think it's a great introduction to like operating systems. Maybe you pick up programming one day because you saw a script that you liked and you want to understand more, and it makes you more interested in exploring new technologies as a whole. So even if Rising itself you might consider not practical, the knowledge you gain, it's absolutely is. And I'm not talking about opening fast fetch on the terminal. Okay, that's not the type of knowledge I'm talking about. So on the last video, I also talked about how my first distro when I came to Arch, I tried to use Hyperland, and Wayboard did not help with connecting with Wi-Fi. I couldn't use Wi-Fi or Bluetooth. I was completely off grid because I didn't know how to use my computer with that. And that was one of the major issues that I had, that I thought beginners would get so stuck with it and they would break their systems. They would get unmotivated. They would leave back to Windows or whatever because I didn't manage. But I think in 1 year, that aspect has improved a lot, because nowadays you can install an Noctalia shell as an example. Noctalia shell is basically a Qt configuration that gives you a little shell on your Wayland compositor that you can use and configure everything, especially Wi-Fi and Bluetooth and device the audio comes out from. So these new tools they bring to these Wayland compositors, these window managers that I talked about that you should now use, they bring a more ease of use. They bring a more easy way to interact with them. And even if you don't care about aesthetics, I don't know what you consider Rising, but for me, workflow also comes into consideration, because Rising your system also brings some workflow improvements. Because when you use a window manager, for example, they change how you manage multiple windows and how you interact with them. And I saw this when I came to Neri, that is basically a Wayland, but it organizes the window a different way. When I came to Neri, I find myself so slow using a GNOME, for example, because I'm so used to closing windows in a way, opening terminals left and right, that when I have to do it on GNOME, I have to set a few key bindings, and it still is not as snappier, it's not as fast, it's not I integrate it on my workflow, so I'm more productive using this. And so I gain productivity just for Rising my computer, and I think that's great. Okay, it's a net benefit for me. And a more of a maybe niche opinion, but I think Rising keeps the computer culture alive in a way, because even if Linux right now is only 5% and growing of desktop computers that are being used, people that use Linux usually understand more about computers. Maybe because they are already from tech, maybe they came to Linux and liked Rising and understood more about the computers and wanted to know more. Because nowadays, I don't know if you saw around you, but all the kids and everyone is using their iPads, their cell phones. So like the basic knowledge of folders, for example, does not exist with younger generations that do not use computers. And I think if a little kid saw the shorts or reels showing a cool computer that it is pretty and it's customizable. Even if it looks like, oh, a hacker computer, it attracts the person to this new environment, Linux. And Rising, it was the reason for it. Okay, if you show a kid a computer that looks from the 90s, it is not gonna attract them. Okay, so I think that's a good net benefit. It brings new people for Linux, and it brings joy for using your computer. And Rising is one of the few play and Rising, it brings that joy for using the computer. So when you build your computer like that, it was like, oh my god, this is tailored to me. I chose everything here. This is so cool. I find it cool. It's so cool. And if you don't want to deal with customization, you see your computer only as a tool, that's completely valid. Okay, not everybody needs to rise, but I see a lot of people that don't rise and say that impose their opinion saying Rising is a waste of time, and if you do that, you're stupid, you don't need to do that, you're wasting your time, your computer is flashier, that doesn't change anything. But these people are missing the point. You know, you're learning, you're enjoying your computer. That's cool. So this is my new updated take. Beginners should absolutely start Linux Rising as soon as they want. Like it starts small. Maybe you are on Linux Mint and you just change the little mint icon on the corner to an emoji. Maybe you start using like color schemes on your computer and that makes you more everything matches. Then you can step into a window manager with a few things pre-configured. Omarchi, for example, is like it comes everything bundled for you. I don't think it's a very good distro for using all the time for your long run, but that's for another video. You can go into Unixprn, see what you like, see what other people are building, see what's possible, what interests you, if you want to do it as well, and you might discover a new passion for technology that you didn't know you had. Also, I would like to add that when I said Rising was a trap, I think I was speaking from a place of fear. I was scared of a black screen or a blue screen. I was scared of breaking my stall like I did. But the truth is, the more you rise, the more you get into the nitty gritty, the more you get into the guts of your system, you will probably break things. And that's exactly why you should do it, because that will also make you learn how to fix them. You learn that a broken configuration is not the end of the world. You learn that you can do more than you thought you could with Linux. It gives you more balls. So you stop seeing your computer as this fragile black box that you can break anything inside of it. And you start seeing more like your tool, an extension of your being, and more like you can do. It's kind of philosophical. Wow. So what's your take on Rising, guys? What do you guys think? Do you think that you are just it's practical? I need to be practical with it, or I need to make everything beautiful because I like to make things beautiful? So let me know in the comments. So if you want to see more Linux content, just subscribe, like the video. Thanks for watching, and till next time. Also, I didn't want to say, but I'm making shorts now. I'm trying to attract people from YouTube shorts to my long form videos so I can save their lives. They don't get stuck on YouTube shorts. So if you have an idea what I can do in YouTube shorts, I would thank you.